and welcome to the DEX program where we share top stories around the world and of course in Nigeria. We're taking a look at the federal government of Nigeria relationship with Niger. The federal government has restored electricity to Niger, lifting sanctions and of course to reopen the border. The federal government to restore the supply of electricity to the Republic of Niger following the directive of President Bola Tinubu. Nigeria's land and air borders with the neighboring country be open. Joining me is Ifeanyi, of course, is a social activist and youth activist, will be joining us for the conversations to take a look at some stories around the world and, of course, in Nigeria. Ifeanyi, good to have you once again on the show.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you've been following development with ECOWAS and sanctions on Niger over the military junta, and recently Niger had given their, we are out of Nigeria, we've stopped any movement from Niger to Nigeria. So now the president and the chairman of ECOWAS have responded, and of course have lifted the ban on Niger. What does this mean as a Nigerian?
I think this signifies a lot because when it comes to the international relation and when it comes to ECOWAS, there are guiding principles and regulations around member states. And one thing that we need to notice is, apart from the things that these people have done, it is important to note that these sanctions against each member affects the citizens. It's not just on the nation. It doesn't affect them personally as the heads of state, but it affects the citizens that trade with Nigeria. For example, like electricity supply. Yeah. Niger depends on that. So I think it's a good step forward, moving forward, but we must reinstate the fact that why the sanctions were imposed before was because of the coup. And we must know that it is not right for us to encourage coup. So that is a good step by the presidency, but we must also dwell on the reasons why those sanctions were on and keep beckoning on return to civilian rule, which is very paramount.
Don't you feel that the president would have had a well thought of before the action of the sanctions on Niger, because he's now taking a look as if we're just making a mere words, because the military junta are still existing in Niger, not that they have restored fully back to democratic rules. So don't you feel that the president would have actually handled it better away from just giving sanctions on Niger?
So the most important thing to note now that this is not a one-man decision or a country decision. This is a collective decision by the country, by the member states. So ECOWAS came together in its extraordinary section and decided that, see, these sanctions are affecting the economy of both our country and those of those neighboring countries. And most importantly, the citizens are affected. So what do we do about this? Remember that Niger, Burkina Faso threatened that they are going to leave ECOWAS. And that is to an extent an implication to the body, because ECOWAS needs to be strong as a West African region, and together with one voice we can get things done. So putting in that sanctions, the aim of it was to tell the junta to please go back to civilian rule. But since that is not forthcoming, which with diplomatic pressure it can come, this sanction removal from key economic states of the nation in Niger and in Nigeria, it's a step in healing, but also we need to keep on beckoning on the reasons why those sanctions were put there in the first place.
Yeah, they also went ahead to form a regional bloc, Niger, Mali and all of that, to form a regional bloc against ECOWAS.
Yes.
I don't feel that it was a threatening move to ECOWAS, because if every other country wants to start, dividing ECOWAS and leading as such, it might distort the essence of ECOWAS.
Exactly, and we must know that ECOWAS should be a very, very, very strong, powerful regional body. That is why I value the way the SADC, Southern African Bloc, operates. They don't take nonsense from their member states. And ECOWAS should really be strong on this, because if the regional body is weak, how can we then achieve some African continental projects? For example, we have the AFCTA, which we must, as an ECOWAS body, come together, collectively achieve this economic goal, then together we can be able to implement it. So the Mali, the Niger, and the Burkina Faso, and the Guinea-Bissau, the way that they joined together was kind of, it was as if oh, they're trying to be stronger than the main body itself, ECOWAS, which shouldn't be right. Because nobody is encouraging war, but to an extent, a regional body should also show that it's a regional body. It should have the strength required to tell its member state, see, you must obey the rules and regulations guiding us as a body. So I think these are the key things that the reforms ECOWAS need to consider moving forward, especially institutional reforms. And there are some debates that, okay, ECOWAS is saying that the coups are coming up in West African states. What have they done about long-sitting presidents that have been there for over 20 years?
I was about coming to that issue of corruption and issues of this, because currently we go to Niger, it seems that the citizens are really happy with the military system. So it therefore means that there's something that our leaders are not doing right. And it's a message. Don't you think that is a message to West African leaders?
I must tell you this, it's a very big, important message, because, you know, when people seize power by themselves, when the military takes power by themselves, you should know that the decay in the system has eaten so deep that the loopholes are everywhere. So for them to be able to do that, that means that it's at the brink. So this is what ECOWAS should sit down and say, why are our region so poor? Why are we not progressing? Look at Mali, look at Niger. These are poor countries that are not doing well. And on top of this, terrorism is biting deep into the bloc. So what is ECOWAS as a region? What is it doing militarily? What are the joint forces doing to stop this? So these are the kind of considerations these juntas would have put in place so that to get the mass support for them to take this action.
And to also avoid another country, you know, joining the line.
That is very important.
As it stands now. Let's get over to Commonwealth. Monday 11th, members of Commonwealth nation, over 54 countries gathered in London to celebrate the culture and the continued collaboration for the Commonwealth of 2024 celebration, with a renewed commitment to deliver a common future for all. While there were many high-profile activities in London, there was observed with reference celebrations and education throughout the world. And this is the word from the King. He said, "We recognize today that our diversity is our greatest strength. The Commonwealth represents a third of humanity from all regions of the world, with all the different experiences, knowledge, and aspiration that this brings. Wherever we live, we are united by the many challenges we face, whether it's by climate change, the loss of nature, or the social and economic changes that new technologies are bringing. Our diversity means that these challenges affect us all differently and that we experience their impact in different ways. Their seriousness, however, is common to each of us." These are the words coming from the King to mark 2024 Commonwealth there. What does this mean to you? Are we really reflecting on the fact that every nations are being treated commonly?
When it comes to Commonwealth, it's a very tricky one because people keep on arguing that is Commonwealth not really a new colonized, post-colonial era where colonized countries are still being tied to their masters, you know, obeying orders from them. But to me, I see it as a different perspective. I see it as a means for you to harmonize your efforts in making yourself better, share best practices, share technologies, come together, bring things in the table that will enable your citizens benefit from it. And let us know that this Commonwealth Day, they are trying to tell us that togetherness is what we need to succeed in this world, which is a very important thing. And I must tell you, even looking at the way Commonwealth has been unfolding over the years, you realize that some of its members are succeeding and some of them don't really answer to the heads of the Commonwealth. Rather, it is a joint effort with both. So I think we should take advantage of every situation, most importantly when it comes to this Commonwealth, because when you look at things that are really happening all over the world, you cannot do it alone. And that is why when I see the problems that are affecting the country, I'll ask myself, why is it that we don't harness these organizational bodies that we are belonging into? Like, for example, the Commonwealth. Why can't we table these matters to the Commonwealth? Tell them, see, you need to help us in this technology transfer, knowledge transfer. You need to help us in these places to boost our economy.
But the King coming out to say that we are with you, we understand the challenges. Yes. Does it speak to the volume of the fact that there is this closeness between, you know, nations of the Commonwealth?
I think to an extent there's closeness, but economically they are not close. Because when you talk about closeness, Closeness in the sense that, oh, we practice the same democracy, yes. But closeness in economic disparities are there. You see these developing countries, they are still developing for 60 years. We are still developing. But these ones have been developed a long time ago. Why can't you help us get to the standard you are? So these are the questions that are hanging and the loopholes that we are seeing. So if we say we are Commonwealth, why is the wealth not common to everyone? Why are we excluded? Why are we still left in the dark? Why are we not having constant light? And we are talking about people that are where we are trying to jump back to their country, while all of us are in the same region, are in the same Commonwealth organizations. So these are the kind of conversations the young ones, even the leaders, need to ask themselves. What are we really benefiting from this? What are we really putting to the table? What are the policies and projects that this Commonwealth have brought to us that have benefited us? And the king will always try to protect the interest of the organization.
The seat of the power.
Exactly. So it is left for us to utilize the opportunities and what we have. Because when we utilize it, that is when we get to grow. Because if we are not growing in an organization we are in, then we need to review. It's not about joining more organizations, but it's about utilizing the ones that we're already in and the ones that we find ourselves in.
All right. We do believe that the Commonwealth, as Ifeanyi rightly said, that the wealth will also be common for all country and the member state, to benefit. We'll take a look at the issue of Japa syndrome as doctor has fought federal government ban on leave of absence. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors and the Joint Health Sector Unions have faulted the federal government's ban on the issuance of leave of absence to health professionals going abroad. They said that the federal government should rather address the pull factors making health workers migrate abroad in search of greener pastures, a trend that is popularly called Japa. The Minister of State for Health, Dr. Tunjide Alusa, last Saturday revealed that the government directed that health workers going abroad to seek greener pastures must henceforth resign the appointment before embarking on such journeys. Alusa said that the era of health workers moving to other countries in search of better offers after applying for a leave of absence was no longer acceptable. The minister said that the ban on the leave of absence for health workers as emanated from the executive order issued by the President Bola Tinubu administration is part of drastic steps to combat the challenge of brain drain, fondly called Japa, confronting the nation's health sector. And these are the words of the president of the resident doctors, Dr. Dele Adolaye, and the national chairman, said that in separate interviews when they were speaking to journalists, that in bid to approach in addressing this issue in the country, that the president should rather, after appreciating the health workers, that should rather make effort to protect health sector. He said that the ministry was misinformed on how to protect and keep professionals within the health system. That the healthcare workers, like other civil servants, are being guided by the civil service rule, and healthcare workers living in the country don't take leave of absence. Most of them resign, and some abscond. Most of the people taking leave of absence are the ones going to come back. If you now say you want to deny everybody leave of absence, then are you saying healthcare workers are not allowed to go for training outside of the country? What if the leave of absence is to go for training within the country? This is his word. I get where this is coming from because different excuses have been given as regards why we have a shortage of healthcare workers in the country, which is not true. They say that they want to increase the recruitment of health workers, but they have taken raw statistics of what the recruitment has been in the last 2 years. And how many of the newly recruited are within the system? You say that you want to increase the number of medical students, but have you looked at the training capacity of these institutions and what the output looks like? I think the ideas are good, but they are not well researched. And the major stakeholders in the systems are not being consulted to make these moves. And if we continue this way, we will not go anywhere, he said. These are the words. It's not just about taking action, not about declaring, issue of absence of leave, banning absence of leave. These are the highlights that the president have concerned. And when we're talking of brain drain, Nigerians are living. The healthcare system is dilapidating every day. Fine. Yes. What is your thought towards this?
I must tell you, it's a very sad one. Because if a country like this cannot even keep together its health workers, cannot have a functional health system, cannot have well-paid doctors, then there is a problem. What are we really doing? Because when you ask yourself, The situation of things is really bad when it comes to healthcare workers. Even the time of COVID-19, I know a lot of healthcare workers that got COVID-19 and got no hazard allowance. And these are their concerns. You know, one thing in Nigeria is that when people raise their concerns, let's really pay attention and solve the problem of that concern they are raising. And I must not entirely disagree with the Minister of Health, because it's really important that we keep our healthcare workers. But now, what are the modalities put in place to make sure that they are here, they are comfortable, and that they are enjoying the benefit of being a doctor? And let us know that if all these healthcare workers go, we, the citizens, will be the ones to suffer. How can even in this modern generation, a woman will try and give birth and die? These are things that have been, even in the remote areas, they are gone. But it is still happening in some communities in Nigeria because of lack of qualified healthcare workers.
And in the budget, a lot of funds have been allocated to the health sector.
So what are we really doing? Why are we letting these loopholes eat us deep down in this country? Because when we cannot even keep our personnel in the country, when we are having the best brains, go to those those countries that we feel that are developed, this is our best brains developing that country. What happens to us? What happens to our system? There is a huge vacuum being left. So I think there is a lot of work that needs to be done to make sure that we bring back these healthcare workers with better enticing salaries to, you know, cover for their very important work they do for us.
Don't you begin to see that the government should also look at the issue of solving the push factor, because there are things that are really pushing the doctors out. And these are the things that I know you've highlighted some of them that have not really allowed, you know, the doctors to say. Because in normal, some Nigerians are patriotic Nigerians.
Yes.
They went to school in Nigeria, they had their degrees in Nigeria, they had their training in Nigeria, and they even started the job. Not that after school they left, because there were issue of debate that, okay, we will stop giving licenses to your practice. I think they were trying to make a proposal of 3 to 5 years before we can give you full license that can enable you, you know, to japa. So now that these are the people that are working with you, so that means it's the push factor. It's something that is really pushing doctors out. Don't you think that government must begin to pay attention towards that aspect?
Exactly. That is what I'm stressing on. There is no reason why every full-grown practitioner or doctor in Nigeria will just wake up and want to leave. There are problems that they are facing. There are cries. Doctors have protested how many times? They are begging government listening to us. So why have we not listened to them? Why are we allowing them to leave? And at the same time, we are being the ones facing this problem. So we really need to rethink, go back to the drawing table, reason why these things are happening. Because it's very important for us to know that demographic dividends can never be harnessed when there is no one to teach you, when there is no one to learn from, when there is no one to hand over to. So it is important for us to know that if these doctors keep leaving, it is creating a huge problem to the already defaulting system we already have. So please, we urge the government, please really work on this. Let's get our doctors back. Answer, listen to them, know what the problem is. Like they are complaining, we need increase in salary.
And even insecurity, they have highlighted that as a dental medical practitioner was kidnapped in Abuja 3 months ago, and a doctor was kidnapped in Kaduna. And all of these, so even the doctors, we've also find even the issue of lift, one of the medical practitioners being caught up in a lift that failed. These are the issues that our hospital is not really safe right now.
Yes.
A nurse was beaten at the point of death at Newi Teaching Hospital, where patients related because they lost one person. These are worth the exposure that some of these doctors are having. So these are the issues that government, I think, must begin to sit on. And the Minister of Health is not just about responding or bringing out policies in restraining them. They should begin to face the issue.
Exactly.
I think that's what the doctors are saying.
We need to face those issues. And very important, I'm not saying that all doctors are sent. There are also some doctors that are reckless, that don't really take, patients to priority. For example, the case of the lady that one chance threw out of the car and she went to Maitama Hospital and they abandoned her and didn't treat her and she died. These are the kind of cases that needs to be reviewed. Those that needs to be sanctioned should be sanctioned. Those that need to be treated well should be treated well. So when we talk about government doctors crying out that their wages are low, that they have no hazard allowances, that they are working in a very bad state, let us answer their cry. Let us look at in depth. And the problem with this country is Let us not keep talking and talking and talking and talking. Let us actually do the actions. Let the people see that we are actually working, just like the minimum wage review. People are waiting to see that it's being implemented. So this is the things we need to consider.
And some Nigerians may begin to say, oh, doctors, also be patient with government, because the issue of leaving the hospitals unattended to patients are also quite inhuman actions. Because these are people's lives that you are taking at risk. As at the point where they will pay at the point where they will be paying your pension or your whatever grant that you're looking for from government, lives and souls might have been lost. So don't you also feel that the doctors themselves should begin to show some level of patriotism while engaging with the federal government?
That's what I'm saying. Both sides should have to step up their game, because doctors, you look at yourself, don't be reckless, treat patients, do what you are meant to do at the right time. Keep beckoning on the government will answer you. But don't, because you remember that you took that your practice to passion, there is a reason why you became a doctor. Answer to these people. Help people, heal people. That is the most important assignment you have on this earth. And in Nigeria, and when we can't even count on our health systems, what about those that don't have money to fly to abroad to go and treat themselves? They should die. So these are the things that even both the doctors need to put more practice in themselves. They have unions, they have leaders. Use your leaders and dialogue your way out. Be diplomatic, negotiate, keep fighting for what you want, and at the same time, keep paying your duties. It is important.
Some of our leaders are enjoying health tourism outside this country. Don't you feel that it's time that our leaders, invest whatever treatment that they want to get abroad here in the country? Because by this way, the hospitals will be fixed. Because if every senators, if there is a law compelling senators, members of the House of Reps, governors, and even the presidency, that they must have their treatment in the country, then don't you feel that it will be in a good step in the right direction?
I totally agree with you, my brother, because when you look at it, you realize that when things affect you, that is when you act on it. So if categorically that our politicians, the big players, are using the healthcare systems here, there is nothing that will make them not repay it. Because when you are in that bed and you are looking at the roof, you're looking at the system and it's not working, you will write that contract and get it fixed. But when you keep on going outside, you don't really know what is happening at the grassroots. You don't care what is happening at the hospitals. And I think we really need to stop joking in this country. You cannot tell me that you're a politician or you're a medical person, that because you have the money and the funds to travel out, you can go anywhere you want and don't care about those that don't have that. When you are here to represent and serve the people, that is something that we miss in this country. Politicians, leaders, the president, everybody is here to serve. So when you are here to serve, you are here to be like the people. Enjoy what the people are enjoying. Know what is wrong and fix it. And there is no way that you will see what is wrong and you will not fix it when you are being the one using it. So it's something that, when we actually change the style, the way we operate, things will be better, trust me. And there was somebody that was testifying, there is an eye clinic in this Abuja or in Nigeria that is very functional and very good, that she even had to travel from wherever she is to come and have surgery there. These are the kind of testimonies should happen, because to be honest with you, we have the best brains. I just went to the Science and Technology Expo happening in Eagle Square, and I saw amazing, brilliant ideas that young boys, young youths are creating by themselves. Why are we not funding these people? Why are we not developing these people? These are the kind of conversations the government should be sitting down, having and drafting ways around it. We really need to start doing something, because we have no other country than ourselves. Even if we run to those places that we think is the best, they can revoke your visa and you still come back to your country that you are born into. So these are the things we need to consider.
A lot of concentration has been on the federal government. We understand that the federal system of government operated in the country needs that attention must be given to the federal. Yeah. When you go to some states, when you go down to some local government, you understand that they are not doing anything. You have state governors who are getting allocation from the federal government, but are not paying attention to the primary health centers that we're having at the different states, and even the local government. 774 local government. Don't you feel that if all governors and chairmen of local government must begin to pay attention at the level of the grassroots, then we may begin to tackle a bit of issues of, because pressure have been on, you go to teaching hospitals. These are where the pressure are.
Yeah.
What about the health centers that would have responded to?
Yes, you're absolutely right, because like I said before, that even in this modern age, pregnant women are still dying in hospitals. There is maternal mortality rates, and it is bad, and it's so sad for a country like Nigeria. And let me tell you, when it comes to government, the actual meaning of federal system of government, we have the local government, we have the state government, we have the federal government. The closest to the people is the local government. These are the people that regulate things that happen down on the grassroots. The state regulates things that happen in the middle. Then the federal regulates for the whole country and to the international world. So local governments are the ones that should be mandated, should be given the right funding, should be checkmated when they do not make sure they fix the primary health centers in their communities. Because you don't tell me that a woman in, for example, Ezeago local government in Enugu state will have to travel from Ezeago to go down to Enugu, the city, just to receive antenatal care. That is very sad for a whole country of over 200 million people. So these are the kind of things that we need to really work on. There is no way that these primary healthcare systems will be bad, will not be working, and everybody is eating salary, they are chopping, everybody is comfortable, then things are not working. There's no way we can progress. There is no single way we can move forward. So both the LGA chairmen, both the state governors, everybody should be held to account. There should be periodic review for them. The law enforcement agencies should really push into action. Ask them why. Why are things not working? Why are your healthcare systems not working? Because it doesn't make sense, really, to be honest.
Our hospitals are also empty with doctors. We do not have a good number of doctors. And even the fact that we understand some people have left, but they feel that government must begin to do some recruitment process and replacement of people that are leaving the country.
Yes.
Because we cannot keep our hospitals unattended to.
Yes, that is not even an option. That is a necessity. That is very important. Because if you don't have personnel to attend to the hospitals, then the sick people will keep dying.
We have over 100 doctors queuing behind to wait for one doctor.
Can you imagine?
Some primary health have been there.
That is very sad.
Waiting, over 100 people waiting for one doctor.
And this is I think there should be even a state of emergency declared on this health issue, because to an extent it will become an outbreak, and when it becomes an outbreak, it can't be under control anymore. So we need to act now, and we need to voice out, and the government need to act very fast, because when you come to a system that is not working, that is decaying every day, you need to take immediate measures to get it done. So if to recruit personnel, there are young doctors out there that just came out, they are existing ones. The most important thing they want to hear is increase our salary. Do the needful. Get them back to the field. Get them working. And they will be happy, and you'll be happy.
All right. Many thanks, Ifeanyi, for your thoughts on that. So let's take a look at abduction in Kaduna State, as the bandits who abducted 287 people last week at the public school in Kuriga, in the local government area of Kaduna State, Chukyon local government, are asking for 1 billion naira ransom for the release of the children. The kidnappers made the contact on Tuesday through the principal of the school, Abubakar Issa, who was abducted alongside the students on Thursday. The terrorists contacted one Aminu Kuriga, a friend of the school's principal, at around 2 p.m. on Tuesday, asking for amount. Government are saying no to ransom, in response to the 1 billion naira given to them. Education is quite low in the north. Abducting 287 people. Is this a motivation to education in that region of the country?
I feel like shedding tears when it comes to this issue of adoption. Because how can on earth a country that has been facing, this is like, it's so funny and crazy at the same time. Since the time of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, they had the issue of Chibok girls. This was a global outrage. It was a big issue. And in 2024, we are still talking about school children adoption. So it's really crazy, and it's like we're playing in this country, because I don't really know what is happening. How can you tell me that a whole system, a whole local government, a whole police system in every state can be watching children get adopted, and now you start talking about ransom.
Not just two people, 280.
So you watch how people will be mobilized, children mobilized out of their schools in numbers, not 10, not 20, not 30, 100, 200.
Almost 300.
You know, it's crazy, my brother, because I don't really understand. Sometimes I am shocked of words. As somebody that belongs to I'm part of the youth constituency of the United Nations Education Cannot Wait Fund. We have realized that we keep on begging and beckoning and crying that, please, let us make schools safe. There are different safe school declarations that are out there. These are the things, policies, frameworks that have been put in place, but lack implementation, lack back-to-back regulation. Because I don't understand how is it that up till now, we don't have functional schools that are well equipped. I saw one school that collapsed in this Abuja, capital city of Abuja. School is collapsing. What is the Minister of Education doing? What are these primary health school boards doing? What is really happening in this country? Who is checkmating all this? Because it is crazy, because how can you tell me that children that are so young and naive, that have no way to go, have nobody to cry to, can just be carried away under the protection of the government, under the protection of the individuals, the citizens of that local government, and nothing can be done? Nobody can trace where these children are. In this modern technology age that we are in, these are really things that I don't understand.
Don't you begin to think that this might be a make-up plan, you know, to either indict the government or to extort from government? 1 billion naira, not 1 million, not 100,000. 1 billion naira ransom.
I even heard of the 40 trillion naira.
So don't you begin to feel that this may just be a make-up somewhere?
This is, I think, is beyond make-up. There is a conspiracy going on that we don't know about. And it's something that we really need to act fast, both us, the citizens, because we are being affected by this. The younger generations are being wiped out gradually, and we don't know about it, and it's happening.
Why would the community, you know, begin to partner with people to put their children into such because
I'm not seeing it as the community being involved, because nobody will bring their children up. But I'm seeing it as something that is beyond the community. It's beyond even the state. And there are also big powers in play here. Because how can you tell me that you are demanding 1 billion for who to pay you 1 billion?
What do you want
and to be honest with you, this must stop. There must be serious
government saying they are not paying. Is it the right response to them?
The government has not to pay, because the children are in stake here. But let's be frank with you. When government pays this one, what happens tomorrow? When they go to another state, will you keep on paying? And now you empower bandits, thousands of kidnappers. They will start, even everybody will start demanding trillions. From where would that money be paid for? So why can't we stop it from the onset? So that we don't get to that level of deciding whether to pay or not. These children are somewhere in the bush, being devastated, traumatized, nobody to help them. And we are still in this country. What are we really doing, to be honest with you?
The House of Reps has accused the security advisor, you know, the national security advisor, that so much funds have been pushed to under your control, you know, to address the issue of insecurity. And it seems that nothing has been done. But these are the people, even the IG, upon their, you know, their screening at the House of Reps and the National Assembly, that they told Nigerians that the issue of insecurity will be put to rest. But we are still having this.
Really?
This is happening.
Really? Because
Kaduna have really always been, you know, a beam light on these issues.
Because, you know, I'm so sorry, but I think
to say that it is.
I think the problem is really beyond us. Because why is it that it's always at the north? The north that we believe that has the highest royal fathers, even if not the highest, they have the emirs. The emirs cannot control their communities. Then when it comes to the House of Reps, when it comes to the Senate, when it comes to the state governor, when it comes to the local government chairman, then when it comes to the security operatives, all these powers in play, what are you doing? Why are you not stopping this? Why are you allowing these people to thrive in your community? How can you be under your noses? Your neighbors cannot watch who and who does not belong here. Where are these bandits coming from? We need to really ask ourselves the tough questions. What is really happening? Who is allowing this to happen? Why are we not fishing out the problem in this country? Because it's becoming so irritating. How can you tell me that we battled Chibok way back 2015? We battled Chibok. And after battling Chibok, we still battled a lot of kidnappings that happened long years. Now in 2024, we are still battling kidnapping of children. So what is really happening? Are we not all the millions and billions of naira that has been spent? Where is it going to? What is it being used for? What is the intelligence system?
Do we have local government that do not have security personnel?
No, we don't have any single local government that doesn't have any, even if it's one police post. Then how can we even have a local government with a police post without any surveillance system? How can we be living in a generation of this modern age that we cannot use drones?
So you are thinking that the local government police are not really empowered?
Yes, apart from not really being empowered, why are they not having the adequate tools, the equipment to trace and track these people before it even happens?
We now have linking of NIN and BVN.
Can you imagine?
Not being put
and these people are receiving ransoms.
They're making calls. They have called someone at the local government. So does it mean that
they cannot trace that phone?
Cannot begin to do something?
They cannot trace that phone. They cannot even put tracer in the money they give these people. Is it that there are no measures to stop this? So, it's becoming so confusing and irritating.
What does this mean to education? Because it's quite a very sad incident. Do you feel that people may begin to see school not to be safe again, and which is a threat to education?
It's a very serious threat, because there's a time we talked about out-of-school children. And remember what I told you. There is no way we are going to harness the next demographic dividends. That word, demographic dividends, is very important. And when we keep taking children out of school, when we keep keeping the schools closed, we are heading straight to doom. There is no way we are going to progress. There is no way the state is going to be well. And there is no way we are going to actually make it. Because how do you tell me that your economy will develop when the next generation take over and not even in school? And apart from that, these are young children, these are young people that have so much potential to give to the society. They have so much potential to give out. And I don't really understand why, up to today, this problem has not been solved. We're still beating rounds and circles and circles and circles and circles. This is so sad, really so sad. I'm telling you.
All right, so the federal government has actually deployed some security personnel to rescue this issue. Do you feel that it will end in a good note or in a good result? Will not lose their life?
It better ends in a good note, because nobody can take no, or nobody can take disappointment as an answer. Now, there's a lot of pressure in the country. There's a lot of pressure on the president. There's a lot of pressure in the State House of Assembly. There's a lot of pressure in the National House of Assembly. So everybody must be on their decks. Everybody must fight. Everybody must stop this. And there is no single way you can tell me that up till now that these children should even be in custody of these kidnappers.
Today makes it exactly 1 week. They're still in the custody.
That is so sad. That is very sad and terrible.
Away from government coming out to say that they won't give the ransom, and also deploying personnel to go after, do you feel there is other thing that government must begin to do to tackle that issue?
I think I really stand strong on that ransom issue, because I don't see how this is lucrative to keep giving ransom to kidnappers and enabling them to do more. Because when you give them now 1 billion, they will use it and buy more equipment and come and attack the next community. So enough of this ransom, and get back our children alive and unhurt. That is the responsibility of the government. That is what we should be looking at. There is no money to give anybody. Bring back the children alive. Bring them back, because that is something that needs to happen. There is no way where we must continue like this. This is terrible. Enough.
All right, we'll go on a short break right now. Once we return, we'll begin to wrap up on the decks on Global Television. Don't go away, so stay with us. Many times for still stay with us on the decks on Global Television. I was taking a look at some international breaking top stories and of course in Nigeria around the world. So before we begin to wrap up, take a look at the issue of education. We are now having, budget of the country. The past 2024 budget has actually reflected a good percentage of that budget to go into education. And issues of compulsory and free education, don't you feel must begin to, be prioritized by government?
Okay, yeah, it's something that, really has to be.
Okay. We deeply apologize for the break in transmission. And of course, we're still on the deck, so taking a look at the issues of kidnapped peoples of Kaduna and where the bandits are demanding over 1 billion naira ransom on the peoples that have been kidnapped. And the federal government are saying no to ransom and would have other means on getting those kids. And these are concerns. And the issues of education has also been raised to stake. And if issues like this keep on happening within a learning environment, and if our learning environment are not safe, where else is safe for our children? We have the data that over 18.5 million Nigerians are out of school, which is the report coming from UNICEF. And in a bid to strengthen hope and confidence among Nigerians, do you feel that, state government, local government, and even the government must begin to see how they can prioritize, education by, the compulsory and free education to those that are vulnerable, that will not be able to have, in a bid, to strengthen, give hope, to encourage more 18.5 million to go back to school.
Yes, absolutely. And I must tell you, because of the current state of things, how things are unfolding, I think nothing is more important than getting children back to school. Because it looks like we're having a campaign against children's education, because nothing else can justify the reason why somebody will wake up and decide to adopt innocent school children that did nothing to you. So I think we must prioritize education. The government must keep investing in schools, keep rebuilding, strengthening schools to be able to withstand evil forces. And we must ensure that there is adequate funding, most especially for out-of-school children to go back to school. And like the Ministry of Education got a very powerful funding, over 800 billion, I think it is important for them to utilize that money, take back children to school. Every child that is hawking, every child that is out there laboring shouldn't be so. They should go back to school. And that is why even the Minister of Women Affairs, Barrister Uju, is advocating for mobile court, so that in this wake of things, when mobile court sees the child outside, they'll ask you who is your parent, and your parents will be questioned. Why are you not your child not in school? So these are the most important things that we need to put in place. Children must be back to school because there is nothing as important as making sure that every single child is in school. And let me tell you everything. When we get more children in school, that is when we are able to develop our technologies. That is when we are able to get literates. That is when the doctors, nurses, qualified lawyers that can be able to handle and take over from the older generation. Who really is going to do this when nobody's in school? We're over 200 million Nigerians. And you can count how many children that are out of school, over 20 million. So what is happening? What are we doing? We are definitely getting a lot of things wrong. So I think out of school children, free education should be a very major priority for the state government.
Many thanks, Ifeanyi Raymond Oforu, social justice and youth advocate, for your thoughts on the DEGS on Global Television. We do deeply appreciate that. We will keep on having you more to discuss on as we see developments in that regard, especially the educational sector, because I understand that you're so passionate about getting children back to school and all of that. We do appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
And thoughts.
Thank you for having me.
That's the package for today's edition on the DEGS. We'll be back again tomorrow. Do have a nice day.